I know you.
What's up, guys? Here with some Skyrim VR gameplay. I've been meaning to upload some of this. I actually already filmed this once before, and it just was all over the place, and I hated it, so I stopped. Alright, I'd scratch that and make another one. But anyway, I made a wizard after making a couple of characters and playing 20-30 minutes with each of them. I end up deciding on the wizard just for my first playthrough in VR. Where is this steward? Maybe he's upstairs. Anyway, I originally made a thief because that's also what I make, archery-based thief. But he was just, the archery is nearly impossible. You've got to, you hold your bow with your left stick, and then the right stick you throw your arrow on there. You pull back, hold trigger, pull back, and release. It seems simple enough, and they say it's actually faster than standard mode.
The Jarl is, as you can imagine. The Jarl has put out a bounty on some bandits.
But it's really weird.
Take a
Like,
look at this
as you
decree
do
for
that, your bow
details.
tends to float up in the air. You don't have any reticle, and it's just extremely difficult.
Enjoy
So
your
I didn't
visit
do
to
that.
Dragon's Reach.
So I made a warrior using sword and shield, and that was actually really fun.
There's been
You know,
talk
the
amongst
ability
the
to
gods.
use
Dragon.
can't do that. But the ability to use my left stick to hold up my shield and my right stick to slash with my sword, especially while doing it at the same time, use a little bit more realistic movements. That was really fun. But ultimately, being able to shoot spells in different directions won out for me. So I gotta say, I like that. For example, bring up. Yeah, shoot these spells all over the place. It's hard to beat that, you know, that feeling. Anyway, today, get my flames and bound sword back. Today I will be going to do some quests for the steward because I need some money. Go down. There we go. Alright, because I need some money to buy spells and eventually a house. All that fun stuff. Where's it want me to go? I did select the quest. Oh no, I didn't. That helps. There we go. Alright. I like the game so far. I mean, if I was just sitting down to play for the story, I don't think I would choose VR. I only play the VR for the specific experience, and I've played Skyrim enough, you know, on PC, PS3, and then PS4, that, I've played it enough that I don't really feel the need to, wrong button, to, sit down and play for just the story. I'm playing more for the VR experience. They can see me. Oh, he's looking right at me. No wonder he can see me. Anyway, so I tend to stick with the VR experience, or VR just for the experience. If I was gonna play the story, I'd probably play it as just a standard kind of way of playing it. For a couple of reasons. One is this game obviously wasn't initially designed for VR, so there's a couple of things that are weird about it. Moving is unusual because you don't have the analog stick on your move controllers. And yeah, I still could play it with the controller, but that kind of ruins the immersion for me. You know, if I'm going to do VR, I'm going to use the headset, the move sticks, or the aim controller, or whatnot, depending on the game. So that's what I'm doing. And plus, playing with the controller and the headset tends to make me sick. Playing with move sticks isn't near as bad. There are a couple of options for move. I've got the one where I just hold the left action button and my guy runs. The other is an actual teleport method, which is faster, makes you less sick, but it's less immersive and a little bit more clunky. But is actually a bit overpowered because you can just, you know, be attacking an enemy and then teleport behind him and hit him and teleport away. So, give me some mud crabs. Magic has a lot. Oh, I already killed him too. That's easy. Right. Magic has a lot further range in this game. Even melee weapons do. And that's... Oh, gotta attack. And that actually makes it really weird. Because, because it's... Because, even though the animation doesn't hit you, you still take damage because you're still within its hit range. So that makes it a little bit hard to, like, dodge or judge whether or not you're going to take a hit or hit them. So I often get a lot closer than I need to get. But again, that's all really because the game wasn't initially designed for VR. And you're gonna get that with a game like that. I also bought Resident Evil 7 for VR, which, come to find out, was actually, if you buy it for VR, you get it in the same game. You get it in both the VR version and the non-VR version, which is actually really good. Oh, I can't. Almost out of mana. Which is actually really useful because it made me super sick in VR. Just again, because it wasn't initially designed for that, so some of the mechanics and functions are a little bit clunky and weird for VR. But compared to, like, you know, Farpoint, the experience isn't near as immersive or smooth. Or graphics aren't as good either, but that's not really any fault of Bethesda. It's more the system's capabilities, that a lot of the system's processing power is used for just the VR, so you can't put a lot of it into graphics and things like that, which isn't a big deal. You know, again, it's for the experience, so it's neat to just sit down and be like, 1 minute one. It happens every single time I sit down, or stand up actually, because I play standing up. Yeah, I get in, I put a headset, I turn it all on, and it loads me in the world, and I'm just like, whoa, I'm here, you know, I can interact with things, I can pick it up, I can toss it to the side, you know, I reach out to loot something, and it's hard to describe that, you know, even watching this video on YouTube, you don't get the same feel, because you don't feel like in your world, you're still seeing it on a flat 2D screen. Sure, I turn my head and you can see behind me, but it's one thing to watch somebody do it, and a complete other thing to do it yourself. I think I'm going to probably do a full video on the is that a lunar sword? Yeah, I'll take. No, I'm not going to take that yet. I don't have anywhere to keep it yet. On, you know, just VR, so as far as reviewing VR as a, you know, probably both the system and as a concept, and just honestly how awesome it is. But it's a feeling, you can't really describe it. Even if you describe or show somebody on a screen, they might be like, okay, you know, that's neat, but they still don't get the same, oh my god, you know, I'm in this world, I'm looking around you. If I want to lose something, I have to reach out and touch it. If I want to hit somebody, I have to reach out and actually swing my sword at them. And that is just, it's something hard to do. Hard to describe without actually doing it. But I think Bethesda does a very, very good job of making the game feel, you know, like you're in it. Especially considering it was a non-VR title to begin with. And there's problems with doing that, you know. Some of the functions and mechanics were designed for a different type of controller. Well, yes, like I said, you can play with the standard controller. I think it ruins the immersiveness, and it tends to make me more sick. Anybody else back here? Actually, as an example, trying to show how far away I can stand. Yeah, didn't really work. I was trying to show you how far away I could stand and still manage to hit them. The buttons change. You've got completely different controllers, and that just makes it a challenge to do that. And considering what they're working with, I think they did a very good job of it. I'd like to see some of Bethesda's. I can't seem to get this. I'd like to see some of Bethesda's games they make, originally for VR. I think we'd get some really neat games. And ones that work very well. This is hard because you have to tap triangle and square to get it to go where you want. And even just a tap tends to send it too far. Alright, and there's nobody in here. So, I just hit the wall. I gotta step away from the wall. Leave that, because I don't have anywhere to put it. I really gotta pick this game up. You just get to sit inside this world instead of just watching it unfold in front of you. You can interact with it. Oh, there it is. I may have already said this, but basically what I'm doing today is I need some money for some spells and to buy a house here in Whiterun, so I'm doing some quests for killing bandits, getting money. And unfortunately I sell for I only get 100 gold for each quest, but I'm a low level, so the experience is nice and I can sell the loot for something. Leave those mammoths alone. Unfortunately, there is no sprint option. Stay back. Wrong button. Wrong button again. Alright. There sort of is in a teleporting mode. If you teleport right in front of you, it's just like considering it a walk. And if you teleport so far, how teleporting works is you hold your action button on your left stick and you hold your stick out and it'll create this arc within the symbol on the ground, and that's where you'll teleport to. And and it simulates like the sound of footsteps. Yeah, similar to the sound of footsteps, so I don't think it makes sneaking easier. And if you do it so far, the arc turns green. And that actually is what they consider a sprint, and it takes stamina. But like this, just where you hold it and you run. And I move my... wrong button again. I move my stick back and forth. There's usually two. You move side to side, you strafe, and if you want to turn, you hit the X and circle button on your right stick. That turns you. Or you can turn your head, but that doesn't move your direction. I'd probably say the weirdest and most clunky part of being VR is swimming. At first I thought you couldn't swim because when I walked to a body of water, it wouldn't let me walk into it. But I was like, well, what if you fall in it? So I jumped into the water here in Whiterun. And it does let you swim. I was kind of hoping it'd be, you know, by... Now you can't see my sticks, but, you know, moving your sticks in a swimming motion or something, but it doesn't work that way. The more you reach out with your stick, you hold the trigger button, and it's like you're pulling yourself along a rope. And that's what actually makes you, like, move forward. It's very clunky and weird and just not real effective. I actually drowned once trying to get myself out of the water. Horseback riding is a little weird. It's in first person. And it could be better, but it's not bad, to be honest.
What are you looking at?
Again, I think Bethesda did a really good job, considering their limitations. You know, converting a game that was designed to play with a traditional controller on a traditional 2D screen to VR with move sticks. I think they did a very good job. I would love to see just what they could do with, you know, a game that's just VR. And the controls are different, but they're not absurd. There's nothing stupid about them. I was looking at getting Doom VFR, and I didn't end up choosing the Resident Evil 7 just because when I look up a game in VR, I look up, you know, the control stuff, since there's no really set standard, you know.
Safe, I hope.
Like if you go and buy a first-person shooter, you can almost guarantee that the controls are going to follow along.
I'm grateful we're friends. I'd like you to have this. It's not much, but I hope it's something you like.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, you know you're going to get a pretty set standard controls. You know, there might be slight differences, you know, whether X's jump or triangles jump, but you get very basic ideas of what is going to happen with it, how it's going to be. With this VR, you have no idea. A lot of these games, you don't move at all, since moving seems to be such a difficult way to, thing to do with move sticks. A lot of games you don't, and that's kind of annoying. So you got to read about it. But anyway, so I was looking up the controls for VFR, and a lot of them were I gotta say, they were stupid. You can use the controller, move sticks, or aim controller, and none of it worked. It really, I mean, it worked, but I was watching some review stuff on it, and it just seemed really weird.
The task of steward is more important than you realize. The Jarl often asks for my invaluable counsel. Right. If there's any more I can help you with, just let me know.
Yeah, so it was, for example, with the controller, everything was pretty much normal, because that's why it was originally designed. But again, I feel like that loses immersiveness, and it would just make me sick playing with the controller and just moving my head. There was something weird about it. How you actually aimed is, instead of using your right stick to move your camera and aim, you moved your head, and your reticle's in the center of your screen, and it moved wherever your head moved. So it just kind of weird. It's like one of those things where, oh, we have this function of this new device. We have to figure out a way to do it, and so they did it, and it wasn't a really good way. With the move controllers, honestly, that seemed to be the best way. But oh no, that was it was a teleport mode. But even worse is you actually couldn't turn. The only way you could turn is by moving your head.
Very often?
And there's a button for a 180 flip.
Of course you don't.
So you hit the button, do 180 flip, and then you have to turn your head in between there. And then the move controller was one that had the best. It had analog sticks and everything, so you could turn, you could run, except I think you couldn't dual wield weapons. So somewhat limited, but not too much. None of them seem to really work. Which I don't know if Doom VFR came out first or Skyrim VR did, but if they did the whole running thing the way they did in Skyrim, why wouldn't they do that the same in Doom? Not really sure, but whatever. So it's their game. Disenchant that. Yes, I think this VR is definitely experience, and it's something new to be in this world of Skyrim instead of just
Don't forget to check
watching it
inside
and
the
maybe
shop when
interacting
you
with
need
it. You feel like you're doing it. You're there. You're a person. The one missed opportunity I feel like they could have really done with this is I feel like they could have, at least as an option, made it so using a microphone in the headset, you actually say or shout the thum, and it would shout. Unfortunately, it's not how it works, and you just hold square on the right stick. I think you should be able to hold square, or if I want to say foos and make it shout, I think I should be able to do that. I don't know, maybe that'll come later on. Anyway, I think this video's gone on long enough, so thank you for watching, and hope to see you next time.